Jamaica.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Health and wellness are the buzzwords on everyone's lips these days, and BATV is here to bring you highlights from the Pharmaceutical Society's 32nd annual conference, happening under the theme Pharmacists Advancing Sustainable Development Goals for a Healthier You. I'm Keneal Gale, and I'll be your host. Stay with us.
The Pharmaceutical Society has a rich history of representing pharmacists and of doing things that we can all be proud of. It has negotiated through two political administrations, both the PNP and the JLP, to ensure that we have a large representation. In fact, majority representation on the Pharmacy Council of Jamaica. And this is very important because what it means is that pharmacist directs the profession. Are you happy for that? So those are some of the landmark things that the Pharmacy Council of Jamaica has done. As a team, we have negotiated and piloted the training of several pharmacists in basic life support, which includes first aid and CPR. As you are aware, the PhD is about training, is about ensuring that our pharmacists have cutting-edge knowledge so that in their everyday practice, they can actually advance the sustainable development that we also look towards. And so we have planned and executed several CEs to enhance the knowledge and the capacity of our pharmacists, ensuring that they are equipped, of course, with the knowledge to help their patients.
We are a community, and we are interdependent community. None of us stands alone, and indeed none of us can survive on our own. And when we look at public health, which clearly is my core mandate as Minister of Health, it is becoming increasingly clear to me that we have a significant task to redefine the narrative around what we as government, the drive of public health and ensuring the health of our country, requires of the rest of us as a partnership and cooperation and collaboration in order to ensure the health and wellness of the entire Jamaica. In your case, you represent some 460 pharmacies across the country, about 1,000, I understand, pharmacists throughout Jamaica, some in the public, some in the private sector. And we have to increasingly see you as a strategic, critical partner in the delivery of public health. You clearly have to contend with the challenges of your particular businesses to ensure that you balance your books, to ensure you make a return on your investment and your effort. And that's very important. But we are so connected as a society in terms of the challenges that we face, whether in delivering the direct benefits through writing prescriptions and providing medication, or the medium that we engage, the technology, as was spoken to earlier. If there are any mishaps, if we discern a particular challenge at a particular point in time, even if it appears to affect just one subset of our population, invariably it affects all of us. And the partnership therefore becomes so much more important. When you look at the disease profile of our population, where lifestyle-related diseases, NCDs as we call them, has become the dominant risk to individual and community. When you look at the cost of treating those lifestyle diseases, it comes right back to us as individuals and how we treat with ourselves and how we see our personal responsibility. And also as a collective based on our particular areas of specialization, doctors, nurses, and pharmacists. And that's the approach that we have taken, certainly over the last year plus, in trying to redefine how do we in the public sector, in public health, find a more critical role for those who are supporters of healthcare generally, but not directly linked to the public health space. And so when the NHF launched the public-private partnership, where today some 17 private pharmacies are involved in providing public drugs to patients who access public health care, doctors in the public system. That is a core manifestation of the partnership that we seek, that we have achieved, and that we must continue to grow and expand.
We go to a break, but don't go too far because we have lots more after this.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Thanks for staying with us, and if you're just tuning in, we are here at the Pharmaceutical Society's 32nd Annual Conference, an event geared at helping you to stay in the best shape while giving you all the inside information on the industry.
What is cybercrime? Today we live in a digital world where companies, corporations, and almost every imaginable activity is influenced by the evolution in technology and technological devices. The computer has changed the way we do everything. It influences the way we do business, and as a consequence, it must influence the management strategies employed. And I am sure I pause here because I noticed from your program, from the message of Dr. Tufton, that you will all be going into this whole issue of putting out regulations. And this is policy, Dr. Tufton, for electronic prescribing. So here it is, you are ushering into your world the use of all this digital technology. Now, at first blush, I can assure you it appears to be sexy, but there's a dark side, and that's what I think the policymakers, the extra burden on Dr. Tufton's head, and I take it Mr. Jones and Dr. Dunn to make sure that as you go into this particular arena, you go fully clothed with the knowledge that will help to make sure that you are proactive and you will not be vulnerable to the negatives of the digital world, which will put you into the cybercrime arena. The misuse of computers and computer systems have resulted in a legislative response. in the form of the Cybercrime Act 2015, and this is amended from a previous act in 2010, which seeks to address criminal activities which target computer systems and data. The Cybercrime Act criminalizes the unauthorized access to data or computer systems, together with the unauthorized modification, interception, as well as computer-related fraud and forgery. The legislation does not define cybercrime, but it defines the term computer. The definition is wide enough to cover devices such as thumb drives, hard drives, tablets, and cellular phone devices. In fact, any data storage and processing device are included in this definition. However, in a conversation with your president, I thought I have to really zoom in a little bit more on this phenomenon of social media. Because not only if you are a parent of, I almost said teenager, but any child, but it seems to me that social media has just about taken over everybody. You have pictures on social media of people using their phones and walking into open manholes, or actually being killed crossing the road and not attending to where they are going. You have professional protocols now going into looking at the use of social media at the workplace. In fact, you have companies that are going into your social media to decide whether you are a professional in terms of how you present, even in social media, whether they would wish to have you on their establishment. And we see that gentleman in the White House, Mr. Trump, in terms of policy, is making sure that when you are crossing the borders of the United States, don't be surprised that if you fall in a particular category of person, that your social media, that you're going to be vulnerable to that being explored by law enforcement at the border, and even before in applying for a visa. So it really behoves all of us to know exactly what we are about as professionals and have an inbuilt, how should I put it, compass in respect of what it is that you do when you go into the digital world. Because I can tell you, and you could also invite several of the cybercrimes persons, the experts. I can think of Inspector Linton from MOCA, who will tell you that nothing is secret anymore once you put certain information on digital. You'd be surprised, because in some encryptions, law enforcement will have particular software that can lift it. I don't know if I should be telling you that, but it is a fact. You see from CSI on television anyway. So you have to be very careful, because once you have put it out there, you cannot call it back.
Here, practitioners generally is very close to our heart of group, and it's been a part of our corporate social responsibility as we travel across the enterprise of Jamaica now to find ways, very innovative ways of helping to secure the wealth of people who have entrusted their entire lives to taking care of people. There are many studies that show that people who often are in the profession of taking care of people don't take care of themselves. This is with the same passion and vigor that you do. And so you have to have somebody taking care of you. And that's where we want to come in as your financial partner to ensure that we are looking out for your well-being. Not only your financial well-being, of course you need money for a lot of things, financial aspect is just a part of it. And so we welcome ourselves, proven into your family, the industry, and we look forward to a long-lasting partnership. So thank you, and we wish you a successful conference.
We take our final break, but don't touch that remote. We have more highlights for you after this.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Dr. Michelle Russell is here talking with us now, and Dr. Russell is the second vice president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, and she's also the chair of the Continuing Education, Research and Training Committee. Dr. Russell, you sure do a lot in putting together this conference.
Yes, we do. It's a lot of work. It takes almost a year to get it together for the topics and choosing speakers. We chose this year to do sustainable development goals, which is a part of the WHO mandate for 2030 to improve the lives of the whole world. We're addressing things like the non-communicable diseases, your diabetes, your asthma, your cancers, obesity. These are the things that we as pharmacists feel very passionately about. We want to make sure that when you come into our pharmacy, whoever this is, whether it is in government or private, that you can speak to us on how to prevent them and how to treat them. That is our mandate. That is what PSG is all about, getting the best health outcome for the population.
How is it important for Indies Pharma to be a part of this conference?
We as a drug brand equity developer and also the distributor in this nation, it's our responsibility to be supportive to the industry and its associations. It's our major responsibility to build the country through the education of the pharmacist fraternity and being part of this world, to build a healthy world while we caring for the nation's health.
The conference is focusing on how pharmacists can contribute to sustainable development. How do you think that is possible?
It is an ongoing process and a never-ending process. It's for perpetuity. It's so interlinked. The health, what we always say, health is wealth. So this is where healthcare comes in, and this is where the pharmacist who plays a very intricate role and a game changer, like what you heard a while ago. They are the ones who are the ongoing caretakers of the patients. Whether or not they see the doctor, they'll go to the pharmacy first to fill the prescriptions, and they take further advice. That's where the pharmacist says, yes, you can continue, or no, you go back to the doctor for further checkup. So they play a game-changing role in the industry and the healthcare. So it's very, very pivotal for our industry.
We're now with Janice Wedderburn, and she's the brand manager for over-the-counter products at CariMed. Janice, just tell me, how has this conference been for CariMed so far?
Well, so far the reception has been excellent. As usual, our pharmacists support us. We have frequent visits to our booth, and they're very appreciative of what we have to offer and the new products that we have online as well.
What are some of the new products that CariMed is offering?
Well, we have our contact lenses now available from CariMed Fresh Look. So if you want to change the color of your eyes, you can buy a Fresh Look. And in addition, we have our Aris Skincare line. Now, Aris Skincare is well known on the market. It's made right here in Jamaica by Dr. Yap. And so you find that a lot of persons tend to draw to that product line. And we have products like the Aris Sulfur Bar, which is a flagship soap. So a lot of persons do recommend and do use that product.
What's the major thing you want to achieve from being here?
Well, from being here, first of all, is just to support the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica. And secondly, we want persons to continue to recommend our products. They're excellent products, and we know that they will continue to recommend it. So we just want to further encourage the recommendation and to give information on what the new products are that are coming out. We have even Lactacid that I didn't mention, that now we have 3 presentations coming out later in the year. And so we want them to just be aware that those will be available, look out for it, and ensure that they have it in their pharmacies.
And joining me now is Karen Peart. She's the brand manager for Massey Pharmaceuticals. How are you, Ms. Peart?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great. Just tell us a little bit about Massey Distributors.
All right, Massey Distribution used to be HG Hopwood. In 2001, we were bought out by Massey, the Neil and Massey Group, and so we have rebranded and we're now Massey Distribution Jamaica.
Tell us a little bit about some of the products that you have here at the Pharmaceuticals Conference.
We're represented by 6 booths here today, and we supply a wide array of pharmaceutical, over-the-counter, as well as prescription drugs.
Give me a quick overview of the things that you have that are new and what has the response been.
All right. We have a new line from Deng Pharma, solely distributed by Massey Distribution. It's an OTC line. Very interesting products. They're what you would call supplement so that it can be easily understood.
Tell us a little bit more, well, as much as you can, about some of the plans Massey Distribution has going into the next couple months to a year.
We are on a drive to really promote all our products, our Carlisle products, which are mainly geared towards cough and cold, as well as for our topicals. Summer is coming up. You're going to need all your rubs and ointments for your rashes, mosquito bites, etc. We have our Pharmatex line, which is a Massey branded line, and we have our Pharma Wormall, and you know summer is coming up when you deworm all the family.
What are some of the major things LASCO is trying to achieve by participating in a conference like this?
So one is partnership. Our pharmacists are one of our key customers. We spend a lot of time with them. So this is in support of a great learning environment. So we participated primarily for that. And we also use the opportunity just to showcase some of the brands that we provide to the whole healthcare industry, whether it be prescription or over the counter, so that, again, bring familiarity and partnership between both groups.
LASCO has made a significant contribution to the pharmaceutical industry in Jamaica and has carved out a pretty big chunk of it for yourself. How do you see LASCO's role in helping to drive economic growth?
Okay, to drive economic growth, one of the things you want a society that is healthy, you want a society that can access healthcare. And one of the things that LASCO prides itself in doing is ensure that the medicines are affordable so that patients can access, so that healthcare becomes a reality. Not just a prescription on a piece of paper, but you actually can get the drugs, you can get it at a good price.
And let's talk about that, because one of the things Lasca has prided itself on is getting drugs at affordable price to the Jamaican people.
Right. So we source our medicines from all over the world. We have multinationals, we have branded generics, we have generics from Canada, we have generics from India, we have generics from Germany, we have generics from all over. We also, like I mentioned before, we have the innovators. So we have a nice balance of portfolio for the patients, wherever their pocket can reach. And at the same time, we ensure that they are of the highest quality, so that it really doesn't matter which of the molecule you get. I mean, as long as it's the right molecule for you, you're going to get the results that you want. So that really, really helps, so that, no longer are gone are the days with some patients just not being able to access medicine. And this works well with the current infrastructure that the government has in terms of the NHF, the JADEP, and you also have now Avendis and access to healthcare, which at zero cost almost to the hospital. So you put all of that together, you bring an affordable medicine, you bring the right medicine, and you have more patients getting care.
Pharmacists play a central role in the management of patients, especially patients with what we call chronic non-communicable diseases. So a doctor will see a patient and diagnose a patient with something like diabetes or hypertension or high cholesterol, and then that patient may be given a prescription for 3 months or 6 months or a year. And it is a pharmacist's responsibility now to manage that patient through this period while they're not actually seeing their physician. And so if there's anything going wrong with the drugs that the patient may be on, or with the condition, if it's not properly controlled or so, then the pharmacist has to give that patient advice. And so it is very important that the pharmacist is so equipped and is continuously updating the information as it relates to these non-chronic communicable diseases that are out there that are affecting our patients. And what this will do in terms of sustainable development and advancing sustainable development is that we won't have a lot of rehospitalization of some of these patients, and that will obviously reduce the costs associated with hospitalization of patients. It will also help to improve productivity, because if a patient is sick, they can function as well as if they're not sick. And these are the things that we are looking at to see how pharmacists as a healthcare professional can assist in sustainable developments for the society.
What are two of the major takeaways do you want pharmacists who attended this conference to leave with?
Well, two of the main things that we want our pharmacists to recognize is that, look, I am, as a pharmacist, the repository of a lot of information that can assist my patients on a daily basis. And so I need to equip myself to ensure that the information that I'm passing on to my patients is of such high standard that, it cannot be questioned. Also, we want pharmacists to recognize that they are also the main persons as it relates to drug therapy and drug therapy management. So if the patient comes to you and there's a problem with the drug therapy, you should be able to do what we call a workup of that patient, whether it be a pharmaceutical workup of that patient to say what are the issues, and then to decide on a way forward so that you can make recommendations to physicians and other healthcare professionals who are so involved in the management of their patients.
That brings us to the end of our coverage of the Pharmaceutical Society's 32nd Annual Conference. Until next time, I'm Kenil Gale. Thanks for tuning in to Business Access TV, serious about business.
Ready for
Fiber cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Hi there, welcome on board today's journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine. We'll explore measures to enhance mosquito vector control, plus a look at how students are honing engineering skills in fun and exciting ways. Stick around, these and much more to come your way after this message.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced this week that government has completed a comprehensive national drainage plan. Its execution is estimated to cost between $100 and $150 million and should put an end to flooding in the corporate area as well as several flood-prone towns such as Maypen, Santa Cruz and Port Maria.
Hopefully they will go to contracting within a month, and the period of design will be about 6 months. So hopefully we'll have that ready in terms of the major drains that will need to be reconstructed or new drains to be put in for Kingston and St. Andrew.
A contingent of 120 Jamaica Defence Force soldiers and 11 members of the Royal Canadian Air Force left the island last week to provide recovery and humanitarian support to the Bahamas following the devastation caused by Hurricane Dorian.
This DART team is prepared to assist generally in anything that the Bahamian government may need, for which we are equipped. But in the initial stages, the focus will be on recovery, logistics, if there is need for medical assistance, and any emergency engineering assistance. The task of rebuilding will fall to, obviously, the people of the Bahamas. But they will not be doing it alone. The entire Caribbean region, indeed the entire world, is looking on and giving assistance to the people of the Bahamas.
Over 500 residents in St. Paul's Lane off Olympic Gardens are to benefit from the re-electrification of their homes following the distribution of power lines in the St. Andrew West Central community recently.
Some of you have built homes there where the wiring is not up to standard to take the JPS electricity. And we have made provisions to assist those households to standard so that you can genuinely take the JPS electricity supply.
The National Security Ministry signed 8 contracts this week to expedite renovation work on 14 police stations at a cost of $195 million.
It's a major task. It includes repair of roofs, electrical fixtures, infrastructure, plumbing, termite control, refurbishing of bathroom facilities, improving drainage, and replacing perimeter fencing, but to name a few.
Operations at the GISCO-owned alumina refinery in Nain, St. Elizabeth will be temporarily suspended to facilitate modernization and expansion works.
I wish to remind this House and the people of Jamaica that the modernization and expansion program will be one of the largest investments in the history of this country. Total investment is projected at $1.1 billion when fully completed.
The Maypen Hospital in Clarendon has been officially presented with a brand new C-arm X-ray machine, which will help improve diagnostic services and patient treatment.
An important collaboration symbolizing the importance of the friendship between Japan and Jamaica. It comes with a host of things, lead aprons, decked rack, mobile apron rack, thyroid collars, adjustable mobile lead barrier, etc.
Meanwhile, the St. James Health Department will be getting an additional 30 vector control workers to assist with the destruction of mosquito breeding sites in the parish.
We want to appeal to the public, to the populace, that while we will do whatever is necessary to raise the awareness, to support the identification and destruction of breeding sites, to deal with symptoms and treatment, ultimately, personal responsibility and citizens' action needs to be a norm rather than an exception. It cannot be seasonal. It has to be a routine, a part of our culture, a part of our behavior.
And finally, tributes flowed in Parliament Tuesday for 3 former members of Parliament who passed away recently. Prime Minister Andrew Holness led the tributes to former members of Parliament Lawrence Broderick and Glenville Shaw, as well as former Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Ken Baugh.
Right throughout Ken's life, and reflected in the tributes that have been given here, is that in Jamaican terms, you would describe Ken as a nice man. As a nice man, a man of great honor, integrity, dignity.
I think his reputation for decency and goodwill earned him the respect of all his colleagues within the House on all sides.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
Measles is a highly contagious viral disease affecting many children. Infection spreads rapidly, even before symptoms are evident. It therefore has the potential to cause outbreaks. Vaccination is the only way that we can prevent measles in Jamaica today. 2 doses of the MMR vaccine are needed to provide full protection against the disease. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is seeking the full cooperation of parents and guardians to ensure that their children receive their 2 doses of the MMR vaccine, especially before traveling to a country that is known to have reported cases of measles. Protect your children's health. Protect our nation's health. Check your vaccine status today.
Mosquitoes have been quite a nuisance, causing much discomfort and ill health. Controlling the mosquito population is one of the best means of protection from this pesky insect. The Ministry of Health has been routinely ramping up its vector control activities to reduce the risk of disease transmission. More in this feature.
Oh, that a helicopter a fly. No the one ADC chip time. And a police, you not get no blind. Dirty Culex, the outsider cry. You don't believe that dengue is real. Who can't hear mosquito bite them a feel. Female, a search for a blood meal. To argue is like a KFC meal deal. Vector control, fight against Zika. Vector control, kill mosquito.
Dengue fever, mad me. They really tend to get to that the mosquito. But to me, that did look like small matter. Me just clap after the one that will come too close. But me never know say so much deep in me. Oh, you see how them little ass sneaking?
Entertainment being shared here with strong personal responsibility messages for preventative measures as an army of 1,000 vector control aides and unit staff muster on the grounds of the National Heroes Circle. These are the Ministry of Health and Wellness's frontline assault on the mosquito population across Jamaica. Over the past few years, the ministry has introduced the Enhanced Vector Control Program as a component of its Integrated Vector Management Program to strategically control the mosquito population.
History, literature, and research tells us that if we enhance our vector control activities 2 or 3 months prior to your high transmission period, you're likely to reduce the possibility of an outbreak. And if you do get into an outbreak, to reduce the burden of same.
It is an attempt at educating the population, and we have to remind them of it almost every single year,
Because as Jamaicans, we tend to forget when it's not a crisis, it don't matter until it becomes a crisis again. We have to be proactive.
Ridding our environment of the pesky Aedes aegypti mosquito requires every able member of our communities to engage in a sustained search to locate and destroy mosquito breeding sites. The ministry's trained vector control team plays an important role by visiting homes, distributing materials, inspecting and treating water storage facilities, and passing on information to individuals they meet.
We're focusing on this one because this one is the one that carries the deadly virus. The ZIKV, the CHIKV, the dengue in particular, but other viruses too.
Objects and containers holding water or water catchment areas within our surroundings are prime breeding sites.
75 of the times when we find mosquitoes breeding, it is in and around the home, and it was put there or left there by the householder who becomes the victim of the mosquito when it goes out and starts to bite and spread the virus.
The team of vector control workers have the role of ensuring householders recognize the dangers and that they take the necessary steps to secure their environment.
Cover your drums if you're storing water for usage. That you make sure your solid waste is properly packaged so that NSA and AA can come and pick it up, or you can drop it off somewhere. That you empty out your vase that you have your flowers in, your freshly cut flowers on your dining room table or on your dresser to pretty up your house. You empty it periodically because it's water and it's a breeding site.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is making the employment of 1,000 vector control aides a standardized yearly feature of its operation. At the same time, the cadre of permanent vector control staff is being increased from 200 to 300, drawing from the pool of 1,000. All vector control aides received training and certification through the Heart Trust NTA, which empowered them with the skills they can use in many other jobs.
The training is about management and supervision. The training is about how to interact with people, customer service. The training is about deportment and personal conduct. Those are life skills that helps you to be a better individual and a more marketable individual.
Extra resources have been provided to support this much bigger team in the field in the form of logistics, transportation and equipment such as fogging machines. Some things they want every Jamaican to recognize includes the additional breeding sites that spring up during rainy times. Water collection containers should be securely covered so they don't become breeding grounds. And solid waste can be a harbor for these deadly pests. The Health and Wellness Ministry is collaborating with the National Solid Waste Management Authority and municipal corporations to ensure our environments are clean and mosquito-free. $130 million has been mobilized by the National Health Fund to finance the work.
The NSWMA stand ready to work with the Ministry of Health and all other partners because we have a mantra and we share it right across. Jamaica's beauty is our collective duty. And we want to have a safe environment for us, not us, but our children.
Be welcoming to those who are deployed in the field, the 1,200 or so vector workers who will visit your homes to allow them to assist you in identifying and destroying those breeding sites. The real response to dengue is not just about the treatment. That stage everybody would have been, the person would have been affected. It really is about how we prevent.
Educational development in the areas of technology and engineering is important for meeting human resource needs now and in the future. Increasingly, students in our high schools are honing skills in these areas and building the platform to take on current and future job opportunities. Find out more in this next feature.
All right, Anna Hugh, would you like to demonstrate how reins along a ridge? Excellent job, Anna Hugh.
This is the Augmented Reality Sandbox created by the Engineering Club at the Herbert Mercer Technical High School. This is one of the 5 projects that will be shown in today's episode of School Zone. Stay tuned after the break for more.
School zone, school zone, school zone, school zone, school zone, school zone.
Welcome to another episode of School Zone. As you heard earlier, we're here at the Herbert Marson Technical High School in St. James, where we're learning about a few projects by the Engineering Club. First up on the program is the AR Sandbox. And joining me is the geography teacher here, Mrs. King Cook, who will be telling us more about this.
The AR Sandbox is actually a technological tool that casts or projects virtual reality onto sand. So it is actually a simulation of topographical features that you can actually manipulate as you move the sand. It is one of the most student-centered tools we have at Herbert Marson. Students can actually interact and move the sand, and at the same time they can learn and have fun. Before we get to the actual secret of how it operates, there are some things that I would like to show you in terms of how the tool is used. We usually have flat maps that we use. We call them ordnance survey maps. Those maps are two-dimensional, and students have limitations where those maps are concerned. Where the AR Sandbox is concerned, students can actually interact with the box and create the features that they would normally see on a two-dimensional map. That excites them, and that also enhances and complements the geography as a learning tool.
Really, it's really simple. It's only three main pieces of equipment. An infrared camera that we call the eyes, a projector, and a computer that compiles the information. So the camera judges the depth, which sends that information back to the computer. The computer processes this and sends it back to the projector, which shows you what you see here. And seeing as we use the computer, we can put different functions on. So different keys have different functions. For instance, the 1 key would introduce more liquid to the environment, while the 6 key would change the type of liquid. So we can change it from water to lava to green moss to snow, back to water.
So Ms. Clark, here we have the Herbie Go-Kart. It was a project that was started a couple of years back by other students of the engineering club, but wasn't finished because of financial strains that they had. So I and others finished the go-kart as best as possible. As you can see here, we have here the gas pedal, which accelerates the vehicle, the kart, when we apply pressure on the pedal. Then we have the brake pedal, which is used to apply friction to the wheels, which slows down the kart. Then we have the steering, which steers either left or right. Now around here, we have the engine. This is a Honda GX 120 6.5 horsepower engine, and this kart is a dead axle go-kart, which means that it is run by only one wheel. Over here we have the remote kill switch, which I programmed myself, which is used to turn off or turn on the kart from a remote distance. The kill switch is more like a safety device. As we're speaking about safety, here you can see we have our helmet, and safety always comes first. And I like to add that the main purpose of this go-kart is to help persons of the Herbert Marson Technical High School to learn how to drive, so that when they leave high school they can have their driver's license.
Mr. Cook?
Hi, Ms. Clark.
Thank you for having me.
My ma'am.
All right, so we're now at the buzzer system. And Mr. Cook, the president of the engineering club and teacher here, will be telling us more about this.
This buzzer circuit here is no necessarily special buzzer circuit, but it has an additional feature. It has a referee here, basically, which basically indicates who buzzed first. So if Team Red buzzed first, that signal is sent to this circuit board, which turns on the red light. When the red light is turned on, it prevents the blue light to turn on, whether or not the blue team is pressing. So, Ms. Clark, we're going to give you a practical demonstration of how these circuit boards work. Team Blue, ready? Yes, sir. Team Red, ready? Yes, sir. listen for me carefully. What is the capital of St. James? Obviously. Team Blue is up first. Team Blue.
Yes, sir. Montego Bay.
Montego Bay, you're correct. Montego Bay is correct. We decided that we wanted to make a board, and make a board that is futuristic, an upgrade from what we had before. We also made it on a next basis. As a teacher, I wanted to have students to do activities, creative activities, because there are times when the activities is boring in their view. So I wanted students to get a feel of what it's like to be on School Challenge Quiz in my class without being on School Challenge Quiz.
Have you ever heard about 3D printing, sublimation printing, and laser engraving? If not, today is your lucky day. We have examples of all three that were produced by the Engineering Club, and we'll be joined by Conrad, who will be showing us examples of these. Over to you, Conrad.
Okay, thank you. So here we have different products and items that were created in the laser engraver. So we have different keychains and necklaces, even little award plaques. These were all done in the laser engraver, which, as its name suggests, uses a laser to chip away at the materials put in, which is usually acrylic or Solitex. Here we have medals that were given out at Sports Day. These were put into the heat press, which is a sublimation machine, and it basically transfers the gas to a solid, which is displayed in the center. Here we have one of my favorite things, the edge lamp. Now these edge lamps are two parts. So the main part is the acrylic and the second part is the base. Now the acrylic is done in the laser engraver like all our acrylic pieces, and the bases. Some of them are pre-owned, some of them were purchased, while some of them were created by our wonderful 3D printer. Now this 3D printer can do a marvel of things. It can create little keychains and trinkets, it can create full-blown machine parts, and it can even create functioning toy vehicles. What it does is it melts a small wire of filament and through a little spout takes its time and works its way up, printing from bottom to top. I'd like to add that these pins and keychains and trinkets that we make, we don't just keep them for ourselves, obviously. We sell them to the school at a discounted cost, and we sell them to other schools and institutions at lower costs.
Thanks again, Conrad. So we only have one more interesting project for you, and that's the virtual tour of the Herbert Morrison Technical High School. And our friend here, Anthony, will be taking you through that tour.
Today we are showing an interactive simulation of the school. It incorporates different things from different members of the engineering club. Today we have Kobe Jordan. He's our 3D modeler. He designs our characters. What he has here is the principal he's working on, the principal of our school, Mr. Adams. All right, we also have Marcus Cohen. He works on the full model of the school, all the details of the school. He went out and got pictures and measurements of the entire school and then recreated it in a 3D software. Then we have Kevon Lee, our texture. He takes the models and applies realistic looking materials to them to make it look as realistic as possible, having all the scratches and dents of the school. And I do the programming. It allows for the character movements. As you can see, you can walk around the 3D space as much as you want. You see the AI, like different students in the school walking around, going about their daily lives. The code allows them to move around the 3D space. After I get the models from KJ, our vice president and 3D modeler, you can see the school is to scale. As you can see, when you stand up, you are to scale to the school. So are the characters in the simulation. Here is the document center for a school. Down there, the area that we are looking is the visual arts area, and over there is the TD rooms. So you can see it's a fairly accurate model of the school.
School zone, school zone, school zone, school zone, school zone, school zone.
Small, medium and micro enterprises have an important role in the growth and development of Jamaica's economy. Government has been ensuring there are opportunities and business facilitation in place for their growth. We'll learn more in this feature.
If it is that one day you're not feeling well or you have somebody who needs care at home, what we will do is that we'll have one of our nurses or our doctors come in and take care of the person.
Jamaica is cultivating an entrepreneurial culture, and young people like former fashion designer Chanel Francis are leading the way. It's estimated that over 90% of new jobs in Jamaica are created by small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. This surge in the SME sector is driven by a new passion for entrepreneurship, government policies, and public-private partnerships. The Small Business Association is ensuring that entrepreneurs are aware of assistance programs like the Voucher for Technical Assistance to help SMEs with financial statements, business and marketing plans, and other technical needs. It's the result of a partnership between the Development Bank of Jamaica and the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica. And companies such as the National Bakery have been pouring millions into philanthropic ventures that support SMEs. The Bold Ones is one such program where assistance is provided to selected SMEs in the manufacturing sector to market their products, grow their companies, and employ more Jamaicans. The junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange is helping to build the sector by providing a platform for SMEs to increase funds and raise the profile of their business. The government of Jamaica is also playing its part to develop a flourishing SME sector.
My mission is to elevate the MSMEs to a formal and structured sector in the Jamaican economy and to accord them the dignity they deserve as critical contributors to national building.
To help achieve this goal, the government has established an office to roll out its SME and entrepreneurship policy. Some of the key areas of focus include cutting the bureaucracy and regulatory costs of setting up and operating businesses. The government is also providing business development support through organizations like the Jamaica Business Development Corporation and Startup Jamaica. There is greater access to financing. SMEs can now use non-traditional assets as collateral. They can also benefit from a $30 million loan facility through the Exim Bank and the Jamaica Manufacturers Association. But it's not just the SME sector that's vibrant. Social enterprises are also making a profit and making a difference. One example is the Jamaica School for Social Entrepreneurship. It targets individuals and groups that run businesses for the social and environmental benefit of their communities. Returning residents and members of the Jamaican diaspora have also been active, and they are benefiting from the support of projects like the JN Foundation Social Enterprise Boost Initiative, or SEBI. This JN USAID project has been helping grant-funded operations transition into viable, profit-making businesses to support their social missions. Through SEBI, more than 130 community members have been employed in social enterprises, and some $37.7 million Jamaican dollars in revenue has been generated. Another initiative that's helping social enterprises is JN's iSupport Jamaica platform. Because of iSupport, projects under the Jamaica Diaspora Task Force on Education and many others are being exposed to crowdfunding. Thanks to the big ideas and boldness of small, medium-sized and social enterprises, coupled with enabling government policies and partnerships across sectors, Jamaica's small, medium-sized and social enterprises are making profits, creating employment and making a difference across the island.
We've come to the close of Jamaica Magazine for today. We hope you've been enlightened and ask that you do join us again tomorrow for more. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, gis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
My name is Christella Harris. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
On this week's episode of Chill Spot, we'll be in the company of Kesia Johnson-Vaughan. She's the Marketing Manager of Programs at Scotiabank Jamaica. She'll be sharing with us one of her favorite hideaway spots. It's Jake's Hotel, Villa and Spa right here in Treasure Beach, St. Elizabeth. So don't go anywhere, you won't want to miss it. Hi guys, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, Kesia. Candy.
Nice to meet you. Welcome
Hi.
to Jake's and Treasure
Thank
Beach.
you. This is just a lovely property. As you step out here, you feel the ambience. It just feels so good.
And the breeze.
Oh, amazing. Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little about Jake's and the history of the property.
Wow. Well, my grandparents came here in 1941 and built a little cottage, a 2-bedroom cottage, which is on Calabash Bay, the year my mother was born. And then 50 years later, 1991, they leave the little cottage for my aunt and the house in Mandeville for my mother.
Right.
And she was like, no, 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 I want a piece of Treasure Beach as well. So she sold the house in Mandeville and bought this original house behind us, which is over 100 years old.
Wow.
And that's how Jake started in 1993 as a restaurant, because there was nowhere to eat.
Right.
And back then it was really just German backpackers who were coming to Treasure Beach.
Okay.
You know, no one else had really heard of it.
Right.
And I was in banking. I was managing Pan Caribbean Merchant Bank in Montego Bay. And I said, you know, to my mother, I said, you know, let's expand the restaurant into a hotel. And I gave up my job. And everyone was very concerned because, you know, they're going to Treasure Beach where no one had heard of, and there were not even phone lines back here in 1993. And today, you know, we really have a boutique hotel that we're so proud of.
Love it. And how many rooms does the hotel currently have?
We have 50 rooms, made up of 30 rooms on the main property, and then we have 6 cottages and 6 villas within walking distance. So people consider here as like, you know, the hotel.
Right.
And then, you know, they speak about Jake's Village, which is basically, you know, throughout the area of Treasure Beach.
And as we're here today, I've been told that the entire place is sold out. Is that true?
It is, and you know, January, February, March, we really do a lot of,
busy time.
yeah. But it's been a real mother and son journey, you know, because my mother is a creative one and she's an artist.
Well, I love what she has done with the place. It is beautiful.
It's really amazing. I absolutely love it here. That's why it's called the Chill Spot.
All right.
I love it.
People come and chill here all the time, boy, I tell you.
I'm telling you, from Kingston to here, you can't ask for anything else.
With the new highway now,
yeah,
it's easy.
In no time.
And we have our own airstrip, 10 minutes from the property. We put in an airstrip 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So people flying in small planes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know,
That's convenient.
to us, it's about building a destination. And we want to be a model for community and sustainable travel.
I love that you guys are giving back, which is just so important in business these days.
It is. We have our own non-profit organization called Breads. You know, it's like brother or brethren. And I grew up in Treasure Beach hearing fishermen hail each other as Breads.
Right.
So we decided to form a non-profit organization. Over the last 5 years, we've raised over $1 million to develop the Treasure Beach Sports Park and Academy. And 60% of that has come from corporate Jamaica, including banks like Scotia Bank. And then also the public sector, so the Sports Development Foundation, the Tourism Enhancement Fund. We work very closely with UNICEF, and we have a program that promotes game-based learning in 60 schools with 12,000 kids a week.
Wow.
27.
Learning.
Yeah.
Is that like, what kind of games?
It's activities. What you find is that the primary schools don't have a physical education program. So we train coaches, but taught them games and activities that stimulate learning.
Okay.
So it fills the PE curriculum.
Right.
So we wanted to work in that space. So we trained these coaches. The Ministry of Education have endorsed it, and then UNICEF funded it. So it's affecting 12,000 kids a week. So that's something we're very, very proud of.
They're learning at the same time.
Learning at the same time.
It's lovely. You guys are doing so much. Are we going to be doing a lot today?
Yes, Candy, we're going to be doing a lot today. We're going to enjoy the property. So, you know, we have to have some lovely, lovely food at the restaurant, which we're going to taste later. And we're going to go by the beach. We're going to enjoy the nice scene. We're definitely going to go to my little swing around there, just relaxing your mind. We will definitely, of course, come back and we're going to go by the spa. Nice massage. The spa. After coming from Kingston,
you need that.
Yeah, you need that unwind. So definitely going to go to the spa. And let's see what else we can take in, because the day is going to be really tight packed, but let's see what we can put in.
Well, Kezia, let's start by doing a little tour. I want to see the rooms and what this property is like.
Yes.
And Jason, thank you so much for talking to us.
And welcome again.
Thank you.
Go and explore.
I will. Thank you, Jason. All right.
Let's go.
Candy,
Bye.
let's go.
What would you say drives you to succeed as a young person in business?
My mantra is strive for excellence, and you know, I don't settle for in between. It's just go and do it.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test. It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test.
Free eye testing is back and it's here to stay. Island Eyewear offers free eye testing every day, all day at all locations island-wide. Conditions apply. Make your appointment today at www.islandeyewear.com or call us 630-1180. Island Eyewear, your style, your price.
It's Island Hour, free eye test.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
It's not straightening. That's too funny. That's just too funny.
Okay, so let's talk about your professional life. What do you do?
I'm marketing manager programs at Scotiabank.
And what does that mean?
Okay, so Scotiabank, as you know, we deal with several different business lines.
Right.
And so business lines consist of, where other companies will say brands, we call them business lines. So currently I manage corporate and commercial banking, small business, as well as Credit Scotia, credit cards, and non-branch merchant services.
And you do the marketing for all of those?
All of these business lines. What that means is coming up with the strategy, managing the execution, looking for opportunities to help the different sectors, business lines to grow, and also how to increase customer relationship, client intimacy, just looking about how to get the brands out there.
And were you always in banking or?
No, so I left Caramac at that time, went straight to Jamaica National, and where I was doing PR for them.
Wait, you said Caramac?
Caramac.
So that's what you studied?
I studied media and communications. I know, right? But don't ask me, I actually wanted to be a journalist. Right. You know, my friends keep asking, Casey, how did you make the transition? Actually, it was in alcohol.
Alcohol?
Right, so I worked with Diageo for about 3 years, and then subsequently I left Diageo and went to Lascelles. So I worked with Lascelles for about 2.5 years, where I managed even Magnum tonic wine. Okay. So I was a brand manager for Magnum at one point in time. Managed Campari, vodka. But while I was at Red Stripe, I did sales and business development. And then there's an opportunity that came up at the time, and I left and went to Lascelles, okay. Which was then a part of the Renfe Group, and that was a category manager post. So pretty much I managed several brands again, and as well as some brand managers.
What would you say is your favorite part about your job?
Execution. One of the things I love to see was when you have an idea, and you know it's a lot of work and back and forth with the different suppliers and the concepts, and you want to get it all together. And when you actually have that idea and you're able to look back and see the execution, so you find come to fruition, you see the life, and then people are enjoying the concept, and you get the feedback from people, from the different customers to say, wow, this is lovely. Right. Who came up with this concept? I enjoyed it. That alone, just really amazing. Your partners are happy, your customers are happy, and then your brand is strong.
Absolutely. And then similarly now, what would you say is the most challenging part about your position?
All right, so working with people is never easy. So the thing is that because I manage several business lines, every different business line has a different personality. And then, working with different persons, some persons are very conservative, the other persons you have to convince them to understand why you're doing this from a marketing perspective, because you always know, persons always think marketers just spend money. but they don't see that we really adding value and helping. Because if you don't market your product,
translating into a sale, people don't see that.
you go.
Right.
So you have to try to convince your partner sometimes to see that, listen, you're coming up with something to help your brand to be out there. The more your brand is out there, then people are going to want more. So that's probably one of the most challenging part of the job.
Specific to your role and the programs that you have executed, talk to us a little about that.
All right, so like I was explaining to you earlier, I manage at least 6 business lines. So let's take, for example, one of the business lines, credit card. So you know Scotiabank has several credit cards, as you see out there. So that's actually my portfolio. So when you see all the different ads, the concept, etc., surrounding credit cards, that's actually, along with the other team members, we work together, but I manage it for the Jamaica execution. So Salute was one of our recent execution. And so with that, what we looked at was how do we get persons to first get a credit card, acquire a credit card. So we also had a special for like welcome bonus, as well as if you are using a credit card, what value you would get. So, you know, we have our cashback MasterCard goal. We push about persons using the card and get back 3% cashback. Or if you want to get an Air Platinum card, you get a welcome bonus of the 15,000 Scotia points. Right. That is the card that you should get.
Right.
So pretty much, you know, that one of the portfolios that one of the major projects I've worked on, I've also just done like other executions like Shaggy Show, Business Leaders Awards.
And those would be all the events that you guys sponsor?
Right, we sponsor. So sometimes what happens is that outside of my brands, I manage projects as well, which means I oversee to ensure that execution is done properly, work with the different partners, come up with decorative concepts, you know, etc. So like corporate and commercial banking business line is kind of different because it's more customer relationship branding versus going out there and marketing a product.
What would you say drives you to succeed as a young person in business?
Well, I should tell you that God is the center of my life. Everything that I do is centered around Him. And so that keeps me grounded. My grandmother is somebody who always said, go after your dreams. And she was like, never give up. And I've just looked at that. So there are little things I've taken from different persons, combine them together with God at the center. And that has been helping me a lot in everything that I do. Whenever I'm doing something, I'm very focused, I'm very passionate.
You go all out.
I go all out.
I can see that.
I believe in, my mantra is strive for excellence. And, you know, I don't settle for in between. It's just go and do it.
And what about your other passions? I mean, you sound so passionate about work. Is there anything else that you're passionate about?
I love running.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
You're a runner?
Yes, I'm a runner.
And I should be able to, I can't see the legs, but I should be able to tell by the physique.
I love running. I am now president of Jamdama Running Club, which is 20 years old. So before I go to work, I do a 3 or 5 mile run. Just to
every morning, KCL?
Almost every morning. If it's not minimum 3 mornings. And then on a weekend, I do 10 miles or 8 miles every weekend on a Saturday morning.
Wow, things
Yes.
I will never do.
I love running and I also love giving back. So with my church, currently I work with Maxfield Park Children's Home. I've been doing that for 1 year and 4 months. And I go back every Sunday. We teach either Sunday school or I go back in the evenings and we have like watch movie evenings with them. We sit and talk with them, we counsel, we play games, we have game day, we have sports day, all these different things. So the combination, giving back and exercise is important.
And with all of that going on, how do you balance it?
You find the time for what you really want to do. That's how I realize. It may seem like there's never enough time in a day, but if you really want to do something, you find the time. And one of the things for me is, I don't want to get selfish and get caught up in just achieving, and there are other persons out there that need help. And so I always think about how can I make a difference in somebody's life? Because one of the things that I always say I want to do is leave a legacy. And what is that legacy? That legacy is just, I just help at least one person can say, because of Kesia, my life has changed, or she has helped me in some way, shape, or form. Right.
You've already accomplished so much at Scotiabank and otherwise. Where do you see yourself in the future?
Ultimately, I'm going to have my own company. I love PR, I love marketing. I also love planning weddings. So I don't know how I'm going to combine all of them, but I know ideally for now, I'm at Scotiabank, and my goal is to really get as far as possible in Scotiabank. I don't know if I'll ever be in Jackie's shoe. I don't know. But I mean, long term, I can say for the next 3 to 4 years, I definitely want to grow in my role. There are many opportunities within Scotiabank. I love the small business sector. I love marketing. So let's see where it lies. But my goal is to be excellent at whatever I do. And by just being excellent, opportunities always present itself.
All right, Kezia, so what is next on our list, our very long list of activities to do here?
Exercise. So we're going to go for a ride, and then we're going to go to lunch after the ride.
All right, bicycle?
Yes, bicycle. Okay. So you're going to get fit, Candy, right? Are you ready?
I'm never ready for things like this, but let's go.
But how are you ready for carnival? I can't understand that.
Coming up.
Believe it or not, I love to wash. I know it's kind of weird. I like doing housework. It's kind of weird.
Wash like wash clothes or wash dishes or wash anything?
Anything.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
All right, Kezia, so let's get into or delve into a little bit more personal stuff now. I'd like to know how you were raised, what your childhood was like. Talk to us about that.
All right, so I'm from the parish of Trelawney. Grew up in a very small community called Clarkstown. Pretty much farming was what really drive the business in that little community. I went to Clarkstown Primary School, and then I went to Westwood High. That school really played an integral role in you know, raising me as a young lady. And then came to Kingston to do my A-levels, pre-university school, and then just went straight into university. Growing up as a child, I've always loved sports too. I really used to play netball. I played netball for my community. So I was an excellent goal shooter. I played all the way in high school, all the way up onto university. All the time at UW, I actually was even captain for like 3 years.
Okay.
So I was very involved from that time. I loved sports. So, you know, pretty much my life was high school, school, church, home, you know, and pretty much any other extracurricular activity. But it was always fun because we used to love play cricket in the road. Right. I was a little tomboy. Really? May not believe it or not. I know. I was. I know, can't see that. But I think I transitioned from when I was growing up into a teenager. You know, into high school, you're gonna become more conscious of your body. Right. So I kind of stopped being a little tomboy, but I'd climb every tree. Ackee tree, guinea tree, whatever you think about, I could climb a tree. The only one I could not climb, I remember I used to try coconut trees. Okay. So that really was my childhood.
You're married?
I'm married. So, no children.
No children.
As yet, but I'm married.
Tell us a little about your husband.
And Vaughn is my husband. Really beautiful soul, a wonderful person. Very quiet, doesn't like the limelight, doesn't like being out. So you're not going to see him as much. Just more private things, you know, being home together, coming to these hideaway spots, that kind of thing. He's a father, so I have a stepson. His name is Shane. Really nice, beautiful young man as well.
So how do you balance it all? I know we touched on this earlier, but this is a role as a wife, and then you have your professional role as well. Like, how do you balance everything?
I really do try. So for a long time, I've had believe in this mantra of living a balanced life. So for me, My friends ask, how you do it? You try to take care. So you get up, you take off your house. Believe it or not, I love to wash. I know it's kind of weird. I like doing housework. It's kind of weird.
Wash
I
like
know.
wash clothes or wash
Like
dishes or wash anything?
anything. I'll wash dishes, wash clothes. I know. It's not the average typical woman. I know people
Polar
look at
opposite
me,
of me, okay.
right? People look at me and like, Casey, are you? No. But I like to clean. And when I'm finished, I like how the house smells, how it looks, all of that. And I do find time. So when I'm ready, I'm like, okay, today's my day. It's our day. We're going to close off. We're just not going to do anything. We're going to stay home or we're going to movies. So I try to find that time to balance sometimes because you do need it. It's important to really make sure that you find time for your significant other. Right. Don't get caught up in all of corporate. And sometimes you bring him along, depending on the event, you bring him along with you just to kind of you see what you're doing and you get involved as well in probably what he's doing as well. Support him at work.
What's the one thing you'd want people to take away from our day-to-day and from everything that you've said?
What I want to say to anybody who is watching this show is to thine own self, be true.
Yeah.
Always ensure that you be authentic, be real, you know, let God lead your life, have fun, life is short, enjoy it, keep positive people around you, right? Take time sometimes from all the noise around you and just be grateful. You know, give God thanks for life, for everything, because today was an awesome day. I think I've said so many things in one, but at the end of the day, to thine own self, be true.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the only things we have left to do is the spa and then some food. Yes. I'm ready for that food, so let's head to the spa.
Oh, this is just fabulous.
Well, Kezia, thank you very much for sharing your chill spot with us. I had an amazing day. This property is fabulous. Bike riding was, I'm not going to say it was amazing because it's not too like the exercise.
I don't quite get it though. You love carnival but you don't like bike riding. It's okay.
Of course, the beach, the drinks, this property is just exquisite. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for having me, and it was an amazing day for me as well. I loved it. Thank you.
Jake's Hotel Villa and Spa is rich in character and in history. Today I really got to appreciate this gem on the South Coast as we chilled with Kezia Johnson-Vaughan, Marketing Manager Programs at Scotia Bank Jamaica, a young lady who is really making her mark on corporate Jamaica. I hope you guys enjoyed watching Chill Spot as much as I enjoyed doing all the activities today. And until next time, I'm Candy signing out. Bye. Jake's Hotel Villa and Spa is rich in culture. No, it's not culture, character and history. Ready?
I am Kezia Johnson-Vaughan, Marketing Manager at Scotiabank. Today, this Friday, I'll be hanging out with Candice at Jake's. Persons can get cards, and we were giving away like, sorry. It's a tree, something from a tree.
It's a leaf, it's a leaf.
Oh, I thought it was something. I was like, scary. Oh my God. So that's the kind of thing that I facilitate. So my role is very broad. Sorry.
Stop, roll your eyes. Stop, roll your eyes.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Regional and international aid bolster relief efforts in the Bahamas.
CARICOM chairman leads team to assess the damage.
And deadly Dorian's toll continues to rise. This is the CARICOM News Time for the week ending Friday, 6th of September. I'm Tosankin English Francis.
And I'm Voldoreen Hackett, filling in for Michelle Nurse. Thank you for joining us.
As the heartbreaking reality of Dorian's devastation in the Bahamas becomes clearer, an international relief effort is underway to bring relief to the victims.
United Nations Relief Chief Mark Lowcock said the UN has allocated US $1 million from the Central Emergency Response Fund. The UN said 8 tons of food supplies, logistical and telecommunications equipment were to arrive on the islands devastated by the hurricane on Saturday. The Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland said the organization will work with its partners to make available as swiftly as possible whatever assistance the Bahamas requires. United States President Donald Trump has assured the Bahamian government of America's assistance. The U.S. Coast Guard said it has rescued a total of 290 people following the hurricane. The U.S. Agency for International Development has announced a U.S. $1 million aid package, bringing the USAID's total funding to more than $2.8 million so far. The British Royal Navy Auxiliary Aid Ship is also helping in the relief efforts. The UK Ministry of Defence said the ship, which has been in the region since June in preparation for the hurricane season, is equipped with specialist personnel, stores and transport, as well as a Wildcat helicopter for rescue and surveying operations. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has pledged 500,000 Canadian dollars in initial emergency assistance. Within the region, the Caribbean Development Bank has disbursed US $200,000 in emergency response grants and has allocated US $750,000 in immediate response loan to assist with the cleanup and short-term recovery in the Bahamas. CARICOM member states and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States are also coordinating comprehensive relief assistance. Jamaica has deployed military and relief aid personnel as the international relief effort gathers pace. The private sector, non-governmental organization, as well as Good Samaritans are also contributing to the aid effort. Sandals Resort International has pledged to match every dollar donated to its charity arm, Sandals Foundation, to help the hurricane victims. Using the hashtag BahamasStrong, the resort chain has asked the public to make donations to www.sandalsfoundation.org/donation. Pay attention in your country to find out how you can donate to the relief efforts in the Bahamas.
delegation from the Caribbean community, led by its chairman, Alan Chastanet, St. Lucia's Prime Minister, held talks with Bahamian Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis and his team about relief efforts in the hurricane-ravaged islands. The team included Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, CARICOM Secretary General Erwin LaRocque, President of the Caribbean Development Bank Warren Smith, SEDIM's Executive Director Ronald Jackson, Chairman of the Caribbean Tourism Organization, and St. Lucia's Minister of Tourism, Dominic Feddy. Members of the regional security system were also present. The team traveled from Odyssey Airport to the National Emergency Management Administration Office, where they were greeted by Prime Minister Minnis. They received reports from the Ministry of Works, Director of Environmental Health, Ministry of Public Health, Commissioner of Police, the Bahamas Defense Force, and the Department of Social Services.
The senior government officials accompanied the CARICOM team on a flight over the Abacos and Grand Bahama on the 5th of September for a first-hand view of the catastrophic damage. The staggering toll in the wake of Dorian has risen to more than 30 deaths, according to the Minister of Health of the Bahamas, Dr. Duan Sands. Bahamas' Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said the government will introduce mandatory evacuation legislation when Parliament resumes. The government, international aid groups, and the private sector, as well as Good Samaritans, are assisting in moving storm victims to other islands, including Nassau and New Providence. Those islands were not affected by the hurricane. Over 1,000 people were also evacuated to West Palm Beach, Florida.
In other news, the University of the West Indies Five Island campus officially opened on September 3rd in Antigua and Barbuda. Hundreds of attendees turned out on Tuesday to commemorate a proud moment in the history of the country. Guyanese-born Professor Stafford Griffith will be at the helm of the campus. In introducing him at the opening ceremony, University of the West Indies Vice-Chancellor Sir Hilary Beckles said, "Difficult decisions requiring wisdom and experience will have to be made during the formative years of the institution." He said the UWI has turned to one of its wisest.
Now, my pleasure and my honor to introduce our acting interim principal of our Five Islands campus, please, Professor Stafford Griffith. The onward march of UWI has been associated with a methodology of the development of leadership. The first thing we do is identify a brilliant, seasoned, matured, and distinguished scholar to serve as principal in the establishment of the campus as an operation of higher education. We identify such a person because we know that in these formative months, in this formative year, some hard and difficult decisions requiring wisdom and experience will have to be made, and we have turned to one of our wisest heads. Do not allow the gray hair to disturb you. This is a man who has been tried and tested, a distinguished scholar, a distinguished Caribbean man who hails from the interior of Guyana. And I understand that there are thousands of Guyanese in this country who will welcome him. He has lived here for many years and knows this island and this country very well. I have worked with him at the UWI in the School of Education where he served as professor. I have worked with him in my capacity as chairman of CXC, and he is one of our leading technocrats in guiding the CXC over the years in curriculum development, program development, assessment, testing, and measurement. The CXC we are very proud of today is largely an expression of his leadership and guidance.
In a brief address, Professor Griffith underscored the value of higher education for economic development.
I regard the establishment of this new campus as an outcome of the confluence of the thinking of two visionary leaders, the Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, who clearly recognizes the value that a university campus brings to the economic and the social development of a nation, and Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, our esteemed Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, who demonstrates an unwavering conviction that the University of the West Indies must play a pivotal role in the further development of the Caribbean by extending its services, particularly to the Eastern Caribbean. A campus in Antigua and Barbuda is a good place from which to do so. The value of higher education to economic development is not a debatable issue. It is well illustrated by the impact that the establishment of a University of the West Indies campus in Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago has had on those countries' development. The establishment of the Five Islands campus in Antigua and Barbuda should impact the growth and the development of this country in the same way that the establishment of campuses in Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago impacted the development of those countries.
For more stories, you can visit the CARICOM news site at today.caricom.org or the CARICOM website at caricom.org. Like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.
It's arguably the most significant invention to come out of Jamaica in the last 2 decades. A medical doctor, a mechanical engineer, and a computer scientist used technology to develop a way to train heart surgeons across the globe more efficiently. The heart simulator developed at the UWI-Mona is now being used by several universities across the world to train surgeons. Professor Daniel Kaur, who worked on the project, says after shelving the first prototype and moving on to other projects, he and the other inventors involved received a call that would change everything.
So in late 2007, we hear from Dr. Richard Fines, who was at the time chairman of the American Board of Thoracic Surgery. He had seen a video that had been released along with a paper that we had published. And in the video, we were just showing a small clip of what the heart looked like while, in operation, in use. And he wrote to Dr. Ramphal, basically did a little internet search, tried to find him, sort of located an email address for him at UWI, by which time he had already left UWI, and wrote him and said, I saw this video, is it real? Because if that's real, I'd love to come to UWI to see it, and would you be willing to set it up for us, because we are examining possible simulation environment scenarios for the cardiac surgery training. And this is something that we would like to sort of take a look at just to see what it can do and whether it's good for us.
After some persuasion, the team decided to go to the University of North Carolina to set up the prototype.
First time set up, right? So all these prominent heart surgeons had just come in to take a look at what's going on, and everybody was kind of blown away at just how realistic the heart beating was, and how realistic the whole environment was. So they took out the video footage and took that to their annual meeting that year at the Society of Thoracic Surgeons. And with that video at that meeting, just sort of, caught the eye of everybody who was at that symposium that year. And that ended up getting us invited to technology symposium for cardiothoracic surgery. And we got re-invited year after year.
Soon after that, the UEMONA developed heart simulator was a sought-after tool when it came to training heart surgeons.
It then got to a point where other places wanted one. They kept saying, how can we get one of these at our institution? So it was kind of around that time, that was started around 2009, that we started talking about how to get multiple ones of these. And by around 2011, we'd actually built them. So in that interim, we had negotiations, sort of thought about how to sort of make it a little more structured and sort of help ourselves get to the point where we could be talking to people who might want a license.
The simulator then ended up in some of the top medical schools in North America, revolutionizing the way heart surgeons were being trained.
Harvard's Mass General Hospital, University of Rochester, there was a University of North Carolina, Johns Hopkins, Vanderbilt, Mayo Clinic, University of Washington, and Stanford.
This was the first time ever heart surgeons in training were being exposed to real-life circumstances.
Kind of what I mentioned before, where you might have the pig's heart in a bowl, or I suppose if you're working with a cadaver, which is going to be realistic, but it's a dead person, but nothing where the heart is, or actually a live pig. That is the closest that you could come if you wanted to get a full-blown operating room scenario where you are standing around, there's a apparently living, beating heart, and you have to give the right instructions, and you have somebody controlling a pump, somebody controlling anesthesia, and then you have your partner in front of you, you're supposed to be giving the right instructions, and you're learning not just the specific procedures, but also the management of your team. The only way you could really reconstruct that without having a real patient on the table was a live pig. That was the closest you could come. So what our simulator was providing these guys with was a context in which they could reconstruct any scenario they wanted, when they wanted, at the time they wanted. So from the purpose of teaching, if today's lesson was to teach you something that hardly ever happens, they could make sure it's scheduled what's going to happen because you just set the simulator up to deliver that. So for them, that was a great opportunity to change how training in cardiac surgery could work, right? And at the same time, you're getting this high fidelity model, right? So you're not putting any patients at risk. You have this model that looks real. It bleeds when you cut it. It has a pressure. It shows you a computer trace that looks like it's a real trace on a monitor. So for all intents and purposes, just because you set it up, it's not real. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like a patient on the table.
The heart simulator has not only used technology to totally revolutionize the way heart surgeons are trained, but it is also helping to better equip surgeons to deal with real-life situations in real time.
There are some well-rehearsed procedures, as in over time, they've developed some procedures to respond to a particular kind of emergency. But if you as a resident only get trained via the operating room, then the only scenarios that you become familiar with are the ones that you see. Now, of course, if you see 100 cases, 200 cases, then they start thinking, okay, you're ready, you're competent, you can go, and you are going to be certified as capable of practice on your own. But what if the scenario that we're worried about isn't one that occurs so frequently? It might be 1 in 1,000 cases, it might be 1 in 2,000 cases. Those are still potentially life-threatening, you still want somebody who's gonna now become an attending to know how to deal with them. And in the old situation, before our simulator, the only way they would have really gotten that exposure is through a textbook or somebody telling them, you know, if you ever encounter this, this is what you're supposed to do. So it's kind of a hypothetical, and the response is really a kind of theoretical response, or it's a hypothetical one anyway. With a scenario, with a simulator, we can now say, okay, next week's lesson going to be how you deal with this. And I can tell you what you must do, and I can set up the simulator to make that emergency occur. So while you're doing your thing, you know, suddenly something happens and you say, what's going on? And it's for you to A, recognize that there's that emergency going on, and then B, act appropriately. So you can actually now practice that, which is not something that you could have done easier before.
The HEART simulator is the first UE patent to be commercialized, and with the recent commitment from Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke to pump more government resources into research and development, it is hoped that more patented inventions coming out of the University of the West Indies can be commercialized.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transfer and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process, because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2-3 years, the enterprises will still be operational, and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent, excellent, excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that are coming with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UE who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got a chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goal.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service and also to gain experience in the working world and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the whole program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
Ready Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Our women are the backbone of our society. They deserve to be protected and respected. Domestic violence is not okay. Speak up and speak out. No more violence against women.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Every parent wants healthy children and nutritious meals, and yet a lot find it hard to succeed in helping their kids to develop good eating habits from early. This week on The Good Life, we talk to health coach Rachel Christian, who uses her expertise in health coaching to help her kids make better decisions. Take a look.
I'm Rachel Christian. I'm a health coach, and basically what a health coach is somebody who guides a person along their journey towards better health. I'm helping them to make the correct choices and develop sustainable habits which will keep them along their healthy lifestyle path. I was facing some issues myself, and I attributed them all to weight loss and not being able to sustain weight loss for any period of time. And so I started with that goal in mind. And then while I was on my journey, I realized that all of my efforts would be counterproductive goal-wise if I didn't get my other foods, my primary foods in check. When we think about health, we often think of just, food and exercise. So there are two foods that which we nourish ourselves with. There's our secondary food, which everybody knows about. It's our nutrition, what we put in our mouth. But we also have a set of primary foods, which are very critical to optimizing health, but they're often overlooked. And our primary foods are our spirituality. If you don't have a core or a center from which you are able to deal with the many things that come at you on a regular basis throughout the day, then that can create stress, which can also lead to an unhealthy life. There's your career, how you're spending your day. 8 hours of your day, if you're spending that in a toxic space or a toxic energy, then that can be debilitating. And then there's also relationships, the kind of relationships you have with yourself and the relationships you have with other people, you know. What are you telling yourself about yourself? That can also lead to unhealthy life. And so once I started to focus on those things and keep them in check, it became much easier for me to control how I exercise and also to control how I eat. I lost the weight and I became healthy. But then in that I realized health is about so much more than weight loss, you know, it's about the life that you gain. And once I was eating better foods and exercising and paying attention to my primary foods, my life just opened up in so many different ways. I was able to achieve so many more of the goals that I set for myself. My whole outlook, my whole passion, my energy, my drive, my clarity, all of those things just improved. It's something that I don't think people realize is possible, and even if they know it's possible, they don't think it's achievable, and I just want to help them realize that it's so achievable and so possible. As I was reading an article the other day about the obesity and overweight rate in Jamaica right now, the Ministry of Health just released a study which shows that obesity and overweight has doubled in about the past 7 years, which is kind of scary because that opens children up to type 2 diabetes and other non-communicable diseases at an early age. You have to remember that our secondary foods, food that we eat, is absorbed at a very cellular level when we take it in. And so it shapes our organs, our cells. It also impacts the way that the chemicals and hormones interact in our brain. And so it affects our mood, the way we act, the way we behave, the way we think. Nutrition for children is extremely important because I spoke to the fact that type 2 diabetes is real, overweight, obesity, and non-communicable diseases. But also in terms of their passion and their clarity and their drive and their goal achievement. It's very, very important. We can do small things to influence their behavior from a young age so that when they get big like me, they don't have to struggle for so long, or it don't have to be such a hard fight to get their health on track the way I struggled before to get mine on track. If they introduce small habits from a young age, then when they grow up, they'll hold on to these habits and it will become easier for them to, make health a priority. We are influencers of our children's behavior. We determine how they behave, we determine how they diet, how they see food. It's very unfortunate that sweet, sugary, processed snacks are the cheaper way to go. They're the cheaper alternative. But you can do little things, like you can shop instead of buying your food produce at the supermarket, go to the market, go to a farmer's market and buy it. It works out to be cheaper. There are also small things you can do. We say start as early as infancy with breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is very, very important. One of the things that's interesting to point out is that formulas, when you're feeding a baby out of a bottle, they don't usually stop when they're full. They stop when you finish feeding them the bottle, when the bottle is finished. And so breastfeeding gives the child a chance to stop. So they're able to control then their intake, and that's something that follows them through life as they get older. I don't give my children rice every day. I give them ground provisions most of the time. I swap out white rice for brown rice where I can. I always ensure that they have a piece of fruit with their breakfast. I don't at all let soda into my house. Soda is not allowed into my house. They have it from time to time when they're on the road, rarely, but it's not allowed in my house. My children drink water, and if they're going to drink juice, then they drink freshly squeezed juice. Because when you look at these packaged juice and the soda, 20-ounce can of soda has 16 teaspoons of sugar, and that's per serving. If they get sugary drinks, I mix it, I dilute it with water to kind of cut down their sugar intake. I tend to stay away from sweet fruits for my kids. I give them, but I give them in moderation, and I give them more of the fruits that don't have in so much sugar, like watermelon, cantaloupe. I give them a lot of berries. I give them Ethiote apple is another favorite of mine. So not so much the grape and the pineapple. You have to be careful with the servings of those because they have a lot of sugar, and although it's good sugar, it still metabolizes our sugar. So I also introduced a thing in my house, meatless Mondays. They have Taco Tuesdays too. For one day out of the week, we don't cook meat. I recently moved it to 3 days now, so we have 3 meatless days. But I give them, they have chickpeas instead. They have beans, a bean salad. They didn't draw to these things. Remember that these things didn't come to them naturally, right? Especially my older two who came in to my lifestyle a little later than my youngest one. So it took coaching, I had to sit at the table with them, they had to see me eating it. But that coaching didn't last a long time. I mean, they get used to it sooner than you think. And in our head, we tend to think it's like so much work and it's going to take so much out of me. Believe me, it doesn't. So I come up with these little themes because if you make it fun for them, they'll become more involved. And they get involved. And another way too is that I get them involved in making my green juices. They help me to make my smoothies. They help bake cookies with me. When children feel like they're a part of something, they're more eager to try it after. So that really works for me. I ensure that they are not sitting down in front of the TV 24/7. So that whole sedentary lifestyle with the whole iPad and sitting down in front of the TV, no, not all day. Get up, go outside and play. Sign them up for extracurriculars. Make sure they see you working out and make sure they see you eating healthy. That's a big part of it. We don't realize children at this age are very pliable. We can mold them. It might look like, oh Lord, I'm not gonna eat this, I'm not gonna eat that. over a period of time, you keep being consistent in giving them, sitting down with them, let them see you eating it, eating your vegetables, eating your fruits, and they'll come into it. I mean, it's easier, and it's much easier when you start them from a very young age. Like case in point, my children, I have 3 children. And so my journey started roundabout when my last child was a baby. And so he was introduced to green juice, noni tuna, aloe, smoothies at a very young age. So my children now, the bigger ones, they'll have it, but it's more like I have to really encourage it with them. With Jacob, the youngest, it's seamless. I mean, he goes for that.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to The Good Life. We are still here with Rachel Christian, who is giving us some tips to promote healthy eating habits for kids.
There's so many dietary theories out there, and if you follow all of them, you'll really go crazy. I mean, a lot of them have pros, a lot of them have cons. I mean, I don't bother myself too much with that because then it gets overwhelming. And so I consider myself to be a everything on. So some days I'm a vegetarian and I don't eat meat. Some days I'm a vegan, I don't eat dairy products or meat or anything with a face. Some days I'm Atkins, where I don't eat any carbs. I just mix everything up. I try not to box myself in because then things would get overwhelming and the chances of me sticking to the journey become less. Well, this is what I say. I mean, the more work you put into something is the better it will become. It sounds like a lot initially to make all these changes, but start with one change at a time. Start with cutting out the soda in the house and the juices. Start with that. Start with keeping them on only water. Over time, it becomes seamless. It becomes seamless. Okay, so now that I've talked to you guys about how you can improve nutrition in your household with your kids, I'm gonna show you how I improve nutrition with my kids. All right, guys, so what are we making?
We're making cookies.
Woohoo! Okay, so what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to smash up the bananas for mommy?
You're gonna peel the banana.
Okay.
And you're gonna smash it.
You like banana?
Yeah.
So we're using bananas. They're nutritional, and kids like them in the treat because they're sweet. So
if there's any fruit I would actually love to eat, it's bananas.
All right, so now that those are squashed, we're just gonna throw everything else in there. So we have some flax, we have some walnuts, we have raisins, we have oatmeal, we have unsweetened coconut flakes, honey, cinnamon, and baking powder. Always try to use coconut oil instead of vegetable oil.
Can I pour the honey in, Mommy?
Yes.
Tell me when to stop.
Squeeze, squeeze.
Can I help him?
All right. Okay, okay. Oh!
A lot of honey.
And then you're going to mix this up. So it's kind of just mixing all the stuff around there. Make sure you get all the bananas at the bottom.
Mommy, keep mixing.
Can you stop licking out my bowl? Hey! Spray our baking sheet. Kind of just get some of the mixture.
Can I try that?
Okay.
No, but we're part of this too. People on TV.
See how involved they are? Make it like a cookie. All right. Awesome, wow. We just put it in the oven for 350 degrees for about 15-20 minutes. Is it good?
Yeah. Good.
You like it? Good. All right, so we're going to be making a parfait, and a parfait is basically fruit with yogurt layered, and this is a good snack for kids. My kids love it, and I'm gonna show you how to make it.
Especially Jacob.
Yeah, especially Jacob. He comes running into the kitchen like, can I have some parfait? Can I have some parfait? I use Greek Oikos yogurt, non-fat plain. I use fruits. I use honey to give it a little sweetening. And I also put chia seeds in there, which is full of fiber and good for digestive health.
What's digestive health?
It makes your belly turn better and makes you absorb all the nutrients in your food better.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so the first thing we do is to get a layer of yogurt in there. I usually make these the night before to give the chia seeds a chance to swell.
Mommy, can I lick off my spoon?
Yes, but you can't put it back into the yogurt.
Okay.
And so I pour a little of these.
Are we gonna have any more spoon activities?
Yeah, wait, soon.
Okay, I'm not looking. Can't I just
Kind of mix it up in here. Put the fruits in now. You have to stir them up in there.
Can I see the chia seeds? Okay, let's go.
And now put another layer of fruit. And then you're finished.
Oh, I love papaya so much. I love strawberries. I'm taking all of the strawberries.
This is what it looks like when it's finished. It's really good.
So good.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back to The Good Life. We are still here with Rachel Christian, who is giving us some tips to promote healthy eating habits for kids. If you are just joining us, you would have missed a very fun cooking show with Rachel and the kids, but we saved some for this segment.
I remember earlier I spoke about meatless Mondays. So one of the meatless Mondays, or no, 3 days a week. So one of the meatless days in my house, one of the favorites is this lasagna, but instead of using meat, I use callaloo, and my kids love it. Right, Leo? You love it. Some kids have allergies and asthma, and dairy isn't good for asthma. And so if that's a problem that your child has, I wouldn't recommend using a lot of cheese in your lasagna. You could probably sprinkle a bit on top, just to give it, a little taste, but don't use the cheese when you're layering. So I'm gonna show you the reaction to it. I'm gonna cut a piece, put it in this plate, and then I'm gonna call Gabby to come and have some. Another Meatless Mondays dish that I do is roti and just curried chickpeas and potatoes. That's a really good one as well. It's kind of falling apart. So I'm just gonna give her a little taste of it. And how I make this is to layer it. I use callaloo, I use tomato sauce, I use tomatoes, I use cheese, and I use lasagna shells. Gabby, you shall taste this. What is this?
This is lasagna with some callaloo and tomato and vegetables.
And cheese. Blow, blow. All right, wait, okay. After all this work, I'm having my lasagna. Oh, very good.
I'm Gabrielle Christian and I'm 10 years old. And I think it's important that people eat nutritiously, because if you don't eat that nutritiously, then you'll get sick. But if you eat nutritiously, you'll stay healthy and you'll live for a long time. And I'm sure everybody wants to live for a long time. I like to eat chickpeas with curry chicken or roti, and it tastes really good. To me, it tastes good, and I really like it. I help her sometimes, and I help do a lot of things with her, and that also helps her to speed up her process, and it's fun making stuff with her.
First of all, my name is Adam. Second of all, I'm 7 years old, and I think people need to be healthy so they can learn lots of stuff in school and they can grow up just to be so smart and own a big company. I want to be either a chef or a pizza delivery man. I like cake, I like steak, I like dumpling, and I especially like grapes and apples. My favorite vegetable is tomato. I like tomato because it's very sweet. And now, whenever you eat spicy stuff, it calms your mouth down. So you don't need water. Kids, eat your vegetables so you could get strong like me and work those muscles.
My name is Jacob and I'm 6. I have a problem eating veggies, but I eat them because they're good for you. Because it's nutritious and it gives you a lot of energy, and I need energy to play and learn. This is advice. Eat your vegetables and you will grow strong like Hulk. Eating healthy is for girls too, not just for boys. My favorite fruit is grapes because they're the fruit what tastes good actually. Bye, I need to get back to my game.
And that's it for The Good Life this week on Nutrition for Kids with health coach Rachel Christian. But before we go, take a look at a recap of some of the tips that Rachel gave.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market. And that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility, because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Not many persons outside of the music industry really think about the basic component of their favorite song. It's beat. Beat making was born out of poor communities. The urban ghettos were the hub of hip-hop in its infancy. With little or no money to buy instruments, young people looked at other ways to make music. And so in the 1970s, the turntable became the new instrument, creating scratches, loops, breaks, and beats. In 1979, the first digital sampler and drum machine was produced by Roger Lynn, the Lynn LM1. The following year, the Roland TR-808 drum machine would become one of the most popular electronic instruments ever made, helping to produce more hit records than any other. In the last 20 years, the cost-effective digital audio workstations, DAWs, and software sequencers have been used in much of modern kind of music, and with music being an important aspect of Jamaica's culture, persons have opted to master this craft. Some call them arrangers, some call them producers, but on this episode of Career Moves, we call them beat makers.
I'm Wade Johnson. I'm a producer. Anything that entails the creating of music in whatever form it is. So I create beats, I play keyboard. Let's say the end result is a production. I started out playing music like many in the church. Back then, probably at the age of 10, 10 thereabout, I started to play around with the drums, and then I made the switch towards keyboard. After high school, you have to choose something. My parents wanted me to go to UWI to pursue, I think, lawyer or something, but my heart wasn't there, so I made the step, I made the decision, went to Edna Manley, and it all blossomed from there. I was a student of the Visual and Performing Arts. I did a diploma in Popular Music Studies. In the beginning, when you apply, first you have to do what they call a preliminary qualifying. That's an aspect where they test how far you are theoretically with music, and then as you progress, you then venture towards what you necessarily. So in the third year of the college, we got introduced to an audio recording course that had to do with the creation of beats. You require having a good ear. You have to have the knack for it. Not anybody can just come up and just put something together. You have to actually have an ear for the music. You have to know what you're about and then follow the directions to getting a good end product. There's no one way to do it. Everybody has their different styles and different approach. For me, I might hear a melody in my head, and I'm a keyboard player first, so I'd probably sit around the keyboard and find some chords, play them out and get them done. After doing that, I'll probably add the drums, then add the bass, and then I put it into sections, so like an intro, a verse, a chorus, and that's the skeleton, basically. Then I'm not a writer, so I'll probably find someone that writes and then they put words to it. After putting words to it, then you go into post-production, you get it done, and that's pretty much it. On a regular day, if I don't have a client that has an idea in mind, I'll probably just let the sounds lead me. So I'll turn the machine on. This is called Machine from Native Instruments. It's a drum sequencer. It comes coupled with a software that you can install on your computer. You have sounds that you add, you have samples, you have the whole works. The whole production can be started on here. I search for sounds, search for a sound that I like. Check. And then depending on what I find, then I find a vibe. So let's see what happens. Right. Set the tempo. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pattern length to a 4-bar pattern. Okay. I just added the kick drums. We're human, so we won't always play on the beat, so I just quantized it. I'm searching for another song. Yeah, this can take days. After a while, you probably get fatigued into your ear. You need to take a breather, come back and approach it with fresh ears. So it's not always turn it on and you find a hit. You can be there, you might come one day, you find all the right ingredients and you have something. But then other days, you might have to even leave it for a month or two and then you come back to it and you find it. So who knows? Let's try to add some other musical elements to this. As you can see, you don't always find the right sound right away. You keep searching and checking until you find something that you like. Basically trying to find sounds to add. This is a disadvantage because over the years I've accumulated so much sounds. Finding one out of the myriad is sometimes hard, but I think I have an idea where it should be. The advice I'd give is, if you love it, try it. It cannot be a trial but a failure. Try at it, keep going at it. Nothing gets done in a day. Them say Rome wasn't built in a day. So keep trying. You might fail at first, but if you really love it, give it your best shot. And don't shy away from your dreams. Try it. Yeah man, this is Wade Johnson and you're watching Business Access TV.
You know, people who are in music technology don't have to be stuck doing sound design or stuck doing beats alone. You can be doing all these different things.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
I will make a beat to make music. Cartel don't tell you already say. Just make a beat and make him voice on it and just pay him for voice on it.
Making your own rhythm is like having your own business. And instead of like depending on other people's beats, you can make your own beats and sing on it.
When I was growing up, I wanted to produce music videos, so maybe a beat maker, yes, because I love music and I love instruments and support, so I would pursue a career in that field.
I would say yes, because I am actually a creative person, and yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would try that because I'm a fan of music and I love music. So yes, I would definitely go down that path.
Yes, because you have to spread the resources and even create a job, create opportunities.
So that's the thing there, business access, to think up to the max, tell them to do the max. If they not do the max, then them go pick up the crops.
My name is Michael Sean Harris. I'm the Assistant Director of the School of Music at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. There's lots of terms for people who make beats. Beat makers is one, producers, people have called them producers. They're also arrangers. They're computer musicians is another term that people have used. Music technologists is another term that people use. So there's lots of names for that. In the beginning, it was mostly a classical program. And in the late 80s towards the 90s, they started to include more of the pop music, Jamaican popular music and that kind of stuff, and jazz. Right now, it's a nice, even balance, I think. It has, there's classical elements to it. There's definitely jazz and pop, international pop, as well as Jamaican pop music and folk music. Myself and Peter Ashburn kind of wrote the courses, the technology courses, which was in 2005. We wrote them, but we didn't actually start teaching them until about 2007. Basically, we have 4 courses right now. The very first course, we kind of go through mostly terminology with acoustics and sound and recording, that kind of stuff. It's not a very practical course necessarily, but it's a lot of theory. In the second course, we kind of introduce people to a sequencing program, the kind of program that you basically use to make beats or to make tracks or, to get your musical ideas down. We talk about a bit of editing as well, and they have to do projects with that stuff. In the next course, we're doing sampling. So you're creating your own samples, you're going in the field, going outside with your phone or with a recorder and collecting sounds, and then you're gonna have to edit and process those sounds to be used either for sound effects or as part of a musical composition. The last course, basically they have to determine what their final project is. A lot of them have done 3-song demos, some people have done Foley and sound design for like a movie clip, including dialogue replacement, that kind of stuff. So they'll go from the beginning of the idea, the concept, and then kind of imagine how they're going to develop this concept into a final product. Writing the songs, finding musicians, arranging it, recording it, sequencing it, getting their friends of theirs or guests to come on and record like the bass part or the guitar part, and then to mix it into a final song or piece. Those courses are part of the performance degree that they have to do, a 4-year degree. So apart from those courses, in the 4-year degree, they'll have to do a course in songwriting, in arranging. They'll have to do courses in jazz theory. They'll have to do ensemble courses for live performance. General courses as well, like English and Spanish, history courses, history of Jamaican popular music, folk music surveys, that kind of stuff. The degree now is about $200,000 a year to do the degree. So I guess for a 4-year degree, yeah, so 8. So to get in for the degree, you have to be either a vocalist or an instrumentalist of some kind. So you have to come and do an audition and pass the audition. You need about 5 CXCs, and English has to be one of them. To get into year 1, you'd also need a certain level of music theory. If you don't have that level of music theory, but you do have the subjects, what we usually do is have you do either a summer course that can bring you up to the theory, or you do a preliminary year called FMLP, which is a 1-year course that is made to bring people up to scratch in terms of their musical theory and the musical background. A lot of people don't have the background that they need to go right into year 1 and be comfortable with theory and all the other things that they have to do. A lot of the people who are doing it on their own can do it one way, and they can do one type of thing, usually. The people who have gotten some kind of training usually get exposed to different types of music, different ways of doing things, different ways of approaching a problem or a challenge. So you'd find that it's an easier process for them because they have this knowledge, base, and they have this experience that they can tackle any kind of music, just about, yeah? And they also have a good knowledge of the background of the business of it as well, in terms of the legal parts of it and the rights that they have as a musician, as a beat maker, that kind of stuff. I think it's definitely worth it to come and do this degree because of the variety of things that you can do. And the truth is that if you do one thing, it doesn't mean you have to be stuck doing that one thing. People who are in music technology don't have to be stuck doing sound design or stuck doing beats alone. You can be doing all these different things. The job opportunities where the degree is concerned is kind of vast, actually. You can be doing a lot of things. Yeah, you could, what we've found is a lot of the people who are, even before they graduate, are getting jobs, playing in bands and touring. But a lot of them also end up producing for some of the artists that they're touring with, and they're creating the beats or arranging the music or even writing the songs. But the job opportunities expand are even more vast than that. You can find yourself designing sound for video games or for television or even for movies. You can find yourself composing for television series or movies as well. You can find yourself writing songs or being a demo studio, operating a demo studio to make demos to send to other people who would like to record your songs or other people's songs. You can find yourself operating as an engineer, as a recording engineer or a mix engineer. You could find yourself being a consultant, in many areas. But it could even be a telephone company or telecommunications, because anywhere that you can that will use sound, whether it's web design, video games, movies, TV, radio, wherever might use sound, you can find a job there. With technology, anything that can go wrong will. So you have to be patient to troubleshoot a lot of the times to figure out what went wrong, because sometimes the thing that went wrong is something you forgot to do. So you have to retrace your steps and check what you did and tweak and play. So a little bit of nerdiness can't hurt. Actually, a lot of bit of nerdiness can't hurt because it will help a lot. Being inquisitive, being open to new ways of doing things or new ways of looking at things. You really have to be kind of versatile in terms of how you approach things. So anyone who's kind of set in their way of this is the way it's done, or this is the way I was taught to do it, and this is the way it should be done, they're probably going to find themselves in a lot of problems, because sometimes they're going to buck up on things that you have to try a new thing.
You also have to bear in mind that even though you invest them long hours, you might not necessarily come out with a hit. So if you're easily disappointed, it's not for you.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this. No more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
I was exposed to the theoretical side of music, so I could tell what the notes on a scale are. So when I hear something, I can actually go, okay, all right, this is an A chord or a C chord, and I can write it down on a piece of paper. If I'm not around a keyboard, I can have an idea and I can say, all right, this sounds nice, and I can probably write it down on a piece of paper until I get home. Not having that, it's probably more difficult because you can probably have a vibe on a bus going somewhere. And by the time you come off that bus with the whole heap of music around you and the whole heap of distractions, by the time you actually get to your workstation, the idea is gone. To get a good product, you have to dedicate yourself to it. You have to invest time. So you have to have patience. You have to be a person with patience, and you also have to bear in mind that even though you invest them long hours, you might not necessarily come out with a hit. So if you're easily disappointed, it's not for you. We're living in a very technological world right now, so everybody have a little laptop where them build them thing on. Them have them little setup, so you can probably just use an earphone and start a thing. But for me, I believe in the quality of my thing. So while I might start on a laptop, I would prefer to go to a studio, spend some time, have the product mixed properly, mastered properly, and get it out there. That also, I believe, is an advantage in your work, because when people listen to the work that's done properly in a studio versus sitting in a little room with a laptop and your earphones, there's a significant difference. You can hear it. So for me, I have my laptop, I have a little setup I use at home, but my end product, I'll always go back to a studio. Well, this business, as I'm growing to learn, is about, whether it's links, friend tell friend, you think somebody hear your thing and call you, or you get seen performing somewhere, your music gets heard somewhere. That's pretty much how it is. So that's how people find you. They will hear something on the road and say, who did this? Or who did that? And then you get a call, yo, I hear this and I like it, I want you to do this for me. And it goes from there. I guess the more you do it, the more your stuff gets heard, the more popular you get. I never minded going to college. You know. It was a fun experience because I got to meet people, and I got to my name got spread in certain markets because I'm also a keyboard player. So I ended up meeting artists firsthand. So artists know me, I go on tours, I get to explore the world. So I never had a problem with people that, as you say, come up with a natural knack, or never had to do the studying and all of that. I see myself at some sort of an advantage, as I said, with the theory side. Music is a form of expression, so everybody going to express it differently. But at the end of the day, music for me and production for me is first and foremost the love of it. I love it with all my, I can't see myself doing anything else really, so I do it for the love and no bad feelings. A lot of people like to do what we call buyout. They purchase a beat from you and you won't probably have anything afterwards. You don't have rights to it after they purchase the whole thing from you. Yeah, it can go anywhere from $1,000 US upwards, depending. And I guess that's up to you. That's up to you as you see fit, depending on the person that approaches you. I wouldn't encourage it, but it's a reality. It happens. People come to you with that proposal, and as I said, You can choose whether you want to, because you know the worth of what you have made. So if you can choose if you want to part with it, and knowing that you have no rights to it, and you get a one-time payment. Or I guess some persons are flexible, you can work out like a percentage. So that's another aspect of the business that I'm also now learning as I'm going.
There's probably still a bit of a notion of some, and it might be a classist thing, I don't know, where they think it's a hobby, you know. So or they think, oh, come and perform for me and we'll give you exposure, but exposure can't pay the bills, you know. You know. So I think a lot of people don't understand the amount of work that you have to put in to become good at it. And then to be able to value what it is that you do. It really has to be up to the musicians and the people who graduate to value what they do and price themselves accordingly and not undersell what they've just gone through, you know, and what they will continue to go through to hone and to better their craft. I think it's definitely worth it to come and do this degree because of the variety of things that you can do. And the truth is that if you do one thing, it doesn't mean you have to be stuck doing that one thing. You know, people who are in music technology don't have to be stuck doing sound design or stuck doing beats alone. You can be doing all these different things. The advice that I would give to people who haven't had the training is to even try and get some kind of musical, theoretical training. Because what you hear a lot in the experiments that they do, I mean, sometimes it works, but sometimes the relationship of the key relationship, there's a clash. And so it just sounds wrong, you know. And the thing is that we tend to value raw talent in Jamaica so much that we go, oh, but it's raw talent, and you know, the demand thing, you know, not everything have to sound a particular way. But honestly, that's foolishness. You know, I mean, there's some established things, and the thing is that once you learn the rules, then you can break them because you know how to break them. You know, you have more of an idea. But some things are just wrong. You know? So get an idea, get some kind of background. Musical background, so you have a frame of reference for when you're creating your things.
You can lose. It's the reality of any situation is you stand a chance of losing. But if you love it and that's what you're going for, it's a risk that you have to take. So at the end of the day, I do something, I spend my money, studio time and hiring whoever else. If I feel the need to hire another musician, you spend your money, you invest, you hope to see returns. With anything in life, any form of business in life, that's the reality. You take a risk. So I have no problem taking risks. I just hope it pays off.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our sustainable development goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now 'cause